All right, how you doing, everyone? My name is Chuck, and today I'm just going to put up a little video presentation of what I believe tariffs are and how they're applied to a fictitious company. I'm not an economist. This is basically me reading about tariffs and trying to figure out what they do and what they're like, because that's pretty much what's happening nowadays. Is They seem to be controlling our lives, and I just wanted to put something up there to help the normal layperson like myself understand what tariffs could potentially do and how they could affect your life. So here it goes. All right, now in order to explain what tariffs are and how they can be applied to a company, I made this little presentation. So let's say that we have a certain country here and a company in that country called Square Inc. And Square Inc. makes squares. So let's just start with that. And these squares cost Square Inc. $40 to make. Now Square Inc. sells these squares for $50. So their profit is $10, which is 25% profit. Now, in that country, the squares that Square Inc. builds are made of 4 different parts, and each one of these parts costs Square Inc. $10 each. But the kicker is, Square Inc. does not make these parts. These parts come from 4 different factories. So part A would be factory A, part B, factory B. Part C, as you can see, actually comes from factory C, but it's in another country, country Y. And factory D makes part D. So the black line is basically the border between the two countries, country X and country Y. All right, so as I said, they're $10 each. So each factory, basically, it costs them $10 to get these parts for the actual square. Factory C's part also costs $10 for now. But Country X decided to impose a 25% tariff. So the tariff is at the border and it's on Country X's side. So the customs at the border already collects 25% of the price of Part C, and it goes to Country X's government. So they charge that to Square Inc. So now Part C, when it gets into Country X at Square Inc., it will have cost Square Inc. $12.50. That's the 25% off the $10 that it usually costs them. So now that square with all 4 parts will cost Square Inc. $42.50 to make. So how much are they going to sell it? What kind of profit are they going to make from that? So to get back to Square Inc. and the square, there's a few options here. One option is to absorb the cost of the tariff and sell it at the same price. So they sell it for $50. They absorb the $250, so it cost them $42.50, and now their profit is $7.50 instead of $10. Option 2, increase the price to the customer by $2.50, so then they can just basically recoup the money they spent on the tariff, but then the customer will end up paying, $52.50 for the square. Option 3, negotiate with the factory C in the other country for a lower price and hope that, they can come even with once the tariffs are added. Option 4, source Part C from somewhere else with no tariffs, so another country, or try to find maybe a factory in Country X that would be able to fabricate Part C. Now, these are just 4 options. There's more options, but that's what I put up there. Now, there's effects to that, and I threw a few up there. There might be some layoffs at Square Inc. because now the square costs them more than before. And if they have to eat the tariffs, eat the price, and cut into their profits, they might have to lay off a bunch of people on their assembly line. They might have decreased sales, obviously less profit. I've already said that. Unless they can recoup it somewhere else, their sales might drop. Counter tariffs from country Y, because now if country X decides to impose 25% tariff, maybe country Y will say, well, we're going to throw a counter tariff on that same part on our side of the border, so our government gets a percentage from that, meaning that they're trying to force factory C to sell to somebody else their part instead of Square Inc. They're basically telling country X that, yeah, your company, Square Inc., you need our part, but we're going to add an extra tariff on there, so we also get money. Factory C could end up closing because now they can't afford, well, that basically country X and Square Inc. are not buying from them anymore, so what they're producing does not sell. They can't find any other source, so basically they might end up shutting their doors. Square Inc. could also end up bankrupt because now they cannot produce a square with all four parts because there's no other factory that produces part C, and that could very well be one of the effects of this. So this in a nutshell is what tariffs could look like for a company that produces something. All right, so I hope you get the point of this visualization, this little presentation of what tariffs look like for a company. It's important to note that tariffs are actually tools that government use to try to stimulate the economy within their own country. So they're basically trying to tell Square Inc., how about you look inside your own border instead of going to country Y to source part C. Doesn't always work like that because sometimes part C is not produced, it's not available in your own country, there's no factories that do it, or it's a national resource that doesn't exist, so you have to go beyond your own border. It's also a balance because you want country Y to buy from you within your own country. You want them to buy squares, for example, or something else. So it's a give and take, basically, of yes, we will buy part C from factory C in your own country, but come and buy within our own country. Now, once the trade wars start like that, and you're trying to stimulate your economy, you're kind of slowing down. It's going to cost people a lot more money now because these tariffs are basically going to be on the back of the consumer. The people of country X will have to end up paying that $250 tariff on the squares. It's either that or people from Square Inc. are going to lose their jobs, or that kind of thing. And country Y is going to end up paying as well because maybe factory C is not able to sell as many part Cs to Square Inc. anymore because there's a fee right at the border. So now Square Inc. is looking at other countries to see if they can find a part C somewhere. And like I said, if country Y, factory C, or country Y decides to impose counter tariffs, then Square Inc., to be able to order part C from factory C, they not only have to pay 25% on their side of the border, but they'll have to pay the increased price that factory C is going to charge on the other side of the border. So now it could be a $15 part, and $250 goes to country X, $250 goes to country Y. Everybody loses when there's counter tariffs like that. So this is just me, Chuck, how I see tariffs. Like I said, I'm not an economist. And comment below if you have any points. If you want to help educate me and give me more information, then by all means, I'll take it. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care.